Ara, the first female talking drummer, is here in the house. Join us as we welcome her to the house. You're welcome to Saturday night.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
It's my pleasure to be
Yeah,
here.
this your long hair. In fact, I'm just so awed by it. I'm just so awed by it.
Yeah.
For starters, how do you do this? I mean, you've been carrying this. This is your identity since we've known you as the first female talking drummer.
Yes.
How have you been able to manage this hair? Tell us about it.
First, I'd like to say a very beautiful evening to my fans out there, and
Okay.
it's my pleasure to be here.
Yes.
My hair, ooh, it's actually done by 6 boys, and these boys have been very consistent for the past 12 years, braiding my hair, and we sit down from morning till late in the evening. We get perfect every other day now, you know, so it's very strenuous. It's not even the money, so to speak, it's the patience of having to sit down and getting it done, having about 5-6 people pulling at your hair, you know, left and right and that.
Wow.
But it's worth it for my fans.
It's worth it, yes,
Yeah.
because I mean it's very fascinating.
Yes.
Very fascinating. I wish I can
Thank you.
I wish I can just uproot it and just plant it on my hair for at least 1 or 2 minutes.
A lot of people
Carry
ask me,
it.
is it a wig? No, it's not a wig. I braid it from beginning to the end.
Wow.
It's not a wig.
And how long you carried this for before you have a change?
If I'm out of the country, the weather is more favorable, and so I go 4 months. But if I'm in Nigeria all the while, sometimes a month and a half, sometimes 2 months, maximum 3 months.
Now, to the question of the identity.
Okay.
Was this part of creating an identity for yourself?
Yes.
Because you talked about having this hair since the last 12 years. Is it
Yes.
part of the formation of your identity?
Yes, it's been, so to speak. When the ARA, you know, brand was created about 12 years ago, before the talking drum came, there was this idea of, okay, what kind of hair would you like to do? And I said, listen, I've seen people with long hair. I've seen people with all kinds of hair, but I've never seen anyone with the longest braids. And because my name means mystery or wonder, I want people to see me and say, indeed, she's a wonder, apart from my performance, before I even open my mouth to speak or play my instrument. So off I went outside Nigeria to Benin and, to get the hair done. And I finished it in the night, very late. When I came out of that shop, believe me, little kids came running from different angle with all kinds of cutlery, plate, everything. You know, mommy water don't come, mommy water. So that night I knew that, okay, this is it. This is the aura that I've been looking for. So it's been, and but in the past 5 years, people see me with different kind of hairdo. This is on purpose, you know, and because that is the only time I can actually relax. Once I carry these braids, no, I can't. So people have seen me with different hairdo and aura. Is this aura? But I thought they would not be able to recognize me. And
Who won't recognize you? Who won't recognize your dentation, your special dentation and all? Who won't?
the African beauty.
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
Thank you.
God must have created you on a public holiday.
Wow.
And it took his time. You know?
Thank you. Thank
Wow,
you.
it's so good. It's so good to have you in the house. What other things did you put into consideration when you were coming up the first time?
Basically, creating an avenue for the entire world to enjoy the African brand of music. Fela did it, King Sunny Ade did it, Evangelist Ebenezer Obey did it, and many more that I could have, Mary Makiba, Angelique Kidjo. So we felt like, okay, coming from this part of the world now, and in this generation, what do we do to make them realize what it is we have here in terms of entertainment, coming from the musical angle now? I had been through different phases of my career. I had been Lola Ola, the Afrobeat singer. I had been Yemoja, the traditional music singer. So when Ara came up, I tried my hands on different instruments. I tried my hands on the set drum, on the bass guitar, on the saxophone. But back in the village in Ondo town, where my great-grandfather lived, he was a revered chief who had numerous talking drummers. So those days when we went for the festivals in his palace, because I never met him, he was dead for us, but there was this talking drummer that used to be there. So I was so fascinated by this Iyalu, that's the mother drum now. And I used to ask him that, why don't I see women playing this drum? Why only women dancing and men are playing? And the old man would laugh at me. That's the old talking drummer now. Would laugh at me and say, you are ambitious. So one day I said, okay, can I touch your drum? at least give me, let me carry this talking drum. So he gave me, and I held my 32 teeth was outside. I was so excited. So when the time came for that different thing, that unique thing that depicts my name and my art, I remembered the talking drum. And I said, I want to lay my hands on this instrument. At the time, they were like, why would you do that? No woman is playing, at least none that will know, that has come to, the full glare of the public. So I said, well, there's always a first time. I grew up in a house full of boys, so I had this tomboyish attitude towards me. So off I went, bought the talking drum. Hey, you, teach me. No, why? There's no woman playing it. We don't know how to teach you. You can't play it. Men that play, they have to tighten this place. You have this, so you can't, all kinds of excuses. I didn't mind. I just took the talking drum, bought CDs of great Yoruba musicians, and off I went and self-taught myself. But I did ask them, how many tones does it have? They told me. So I listened to them during rehearsals. I started studying their hands, the movements, and everything. Then with that, I just locked myself up for 6 months and thereabout, and started learning how to play. I noticed that those who play the talking drum usually were backup instrumentalists, not the main act. So here is the main act now who wants to play. So you have to do something different. So I saw Brenda Fassi, God bless her soul, do a split on stage. I told my gym instructor, I want to do split and play the talking drum. I want to play talking drum for under my leg. So it took me a few months to do the split. My gym was in Ikeja. You would hear me shouting in Oshodi. Those days I was learning this, because you had to get stretched and all that. But at the end of the day, it paid off. So I came out with that instrument, with my identity. Of course, it was a consortium of efforts. It wasn't just me. The idea and then the team, the technique behind the talent. Joined together, ARA was perfect.
You talked about doing the split.
Yes.
Then, you were slimmer then. You're very slim. Now, do you still do the split?
Of course. I did it last year on stage. I did it this year on stage. Everybody was wowed. Like, no, you still do this. Yeah, give it to me, yeah.
I know how to give it to you. Then afterwards, you go and arrange yourself.
Nothing do me now. I'm
Nothing.
good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now, talking about the talking drum,
Yeah.
is there anything spiritual to it? Do you think maybe that time, perhaps, when you had that interaction with your grandfather, there was something passed from your grandfather to you?
I never met him. He was this talking drummer who used to live in his palace that I met, the old man. Yes, the talking drum is a very spiritual instrument. There's been many documentaries on the talking drum. I wouldn't run away from the fact. But I have never had to worship the god of the talking drum.
Oh, there is actually a god to
Yes.
the talking drum?
Yes. And I come from a descendant of Alafia Ofoyo, from my maternal side. So I believe that there is perhaps something in me, my ancestors sent me to...
Deposited in you.
Inside of me. Because when I started playing this instrument, there were things that I did realize, and these are spiritual things that, I got empowered, sort of. And having a good relationship with my creator helped me a lot, because these are deep things that I wouldn't bother going into, but they are not barbaric, so to speak. But definitely
They're part of our heritage.
Oh, they are part of our heritage. But definitely the talking drum is a very spiritual instrument. Very, very spiritual instrument.
So do you have to go into your spirituality whenever you do the talking drum? Because I'm sure the talking drum won't talk back at you if you don't go spiritual. Is there anything like that?
Absolutely. My band members know that if I have a show, like ARA in concert, there's some shows that I do, of course, other shows, but when it's ARA, and I'm going to have like an hour, 2 hours on stage, a week, 3 days to that time, I'm not myself, really. I cut off from here, and I'm there.
In the other realm?
Yes, I do cut off. And on the day of the show, I'm not the most friendly person to be around. Not because I'm violent or anything, but I really don't talk.
You're not talking with the human beings, you're talking with your ancestors.
You should put it that way. That got me the nickname Anjono Spiritual.
Indeed.
That's what they call me. They call me Yo. So for me, it's... this is Ara Lola speaking now. This is not Ara. You
Okay.
understand? But
All
when
right.
Ara is about to go on stage, I'm usually into myself. I go into my own world, and I'm one with the talking drum.
So now, speaking of your talking drum experience,
Okay.
over time, would you say you have improved or you are going more spiritual?
Wow. 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 Both. Both. I have improved and going more spiritual. For me, I believe as human beings, as mortals, we never stop learning until we transit to the great beyond. And so for me, the talking drum, every day I learn new things, and I teach as well, because there are other children, there are other females now who do the talking drum. I was at the University of Ibadan the other day. I went for a program, and I met this lady. She's a 400 level student of I think theater or drama or something, and they brought her to me, said she plays the talking drum. She's been learning it, and I told her, play this, play that. I was so impressed with her. And I told her, I mean, you're on the right path, as long as it's your calling, because I believe that what I'm doing is a calling. There is a reason why God has deposited so much inside of me for my world, and if I don't use it appropriately, perhaps something bad would have happened to me.
Speaking of your spiritual stand now, um, because this thing is very traditional,
Yeah, very.
and you have talked about God.
Yes.
How do you marry? How do you balance it? Because there are two different deities now. How do you balance it?
There is no deity like God. God is the supreme being.
Okay.
He is the creator of mankind, the creator of the universe. There are lesser gods. And I always tell people that even in the Bible, sometimes it's quoted according to the tradition of the Hebrews, according to the tradition of. So it means the Bible recognizes your tradition. What makes me a Yoruba woman today are what makes up my history as a Yoruba woman or a Yoruba person today are my ancestors. You cannot take them away. You cannot take that away from my history. Shango, Obatala, Orunmila. You understand? Oshun. All these people, you cannot take them away from. You cannot take that away from. Take that away, then there's no Yoruba. There's no history.
So how do you balance? How do you strike the balance?
Simple. I believe that he created all of us, and he created all these people. He is above. He is at the very top of it all. Every other person is subservient to him. Nothing comes between me and the Almighty Creator.
Traditionally now,
Yes.
are there people who guide you, who lead you, who pep you up at those times when you need to really go spiritual?
Well, for me, I think even the Bible says pray without ceasing. So I'm always fully guarded. I believe that as a child of the Supreme Being, I don't walk alone. I have people who walk with me.
Physically?
Both ways, physically and spiritually.
Okay.
So I believe that I don't need to do anything specially, or you know what I mean, consultations. No, I don't need to do any of that. Oh, but yes, I have people that I resort to, that I seek words of wisdom from, and understanding of the world we are in and beyond. I'll keep it that way.
Beautiful. We are content with that. So now let's go into your
Okay.
album. I mean, your music
Okay.
professionally now.
Okay, uh-huh.
Yes, you've been. You can't wait to go in.
You've been drilling me.
Okay, now we're going to your music now.
Okay.
Yes, the talking drum. You have reeled out one single so far.
Two singles, as a matter of fact. I did one 2009, which was Dominino Make Me Happy, which was a love song. And the new one is with Two-Face Idibia, which is Olomi, a remix of the evangelist Ebenezer Obey's, one of his greatest hits. Yeah, that's a new.
Okay, the other one is a love song, and this is also a love song.
song, yes.
Are you into love songs?
I am.
Should we tag Ara as the first lady talking drummer who is just into love songs?
No. I think it's just the romantic part of me that is coming out there. And I realize one thing, that when I get into the studio to sing and I get boxed up, I soften up. The Ara on stage is different from the Ara in the box. So, and Aralola is a very romantic person, a very
You
lovely
can say
person.
that again. Say it. I want to hear it.
You understand? So, and people get to see me on stage as this energetic, powerful, spiritual, you know, woman who does all this drumming, dancing, and everything. So, I also want them to see the soft part of me that is human and loves to love and be loved.
Is there anything you have infused into your music over the years? I mean, that was then, this is
Yes.
now, and people are reinventing themselves every
Okay.
day. Is there
Yes.
anything new you have infused into this one, the music, the single you
Yes.
did with Two-Face?
Definitely, because it's a Yoruba song
Okay.
and it was done purely Yoruba. But what
Okay.
I have done with this is bring in Two-Face, who is from Benue State and who speaks Doma. He actually spoke sang in Idoma in the song, and then of course the English mixture of Yoruba English Idoma, and of course the modern day beats to give the younger listeners something to want to listen to. You know, it's different, and a lot of people love it.
We've been talking about this video, and I'm sure the viewers are itching to
Yes.
hear what Olomi is all about. So, viewers, it's time to listen to Olomi by Ara featuring Two-Face. Enjoy it.
Olomi jọ̀wọ́ ó jẹ́ ká jọ máa gbádùn, baby. Baby mi jọ̀wọ́ ó jẹ́ ká jọ máa gbádùn. Ọkọ tó lóye yìí ló ṣìkẹ́ àyà rẹ̀. Bẹ́lẹ̀ kan bá tàn ẹ́ kó má má ṣe gbà. Baby, ìdùnnú ńlá ní fàyà kọ́kọ́ kó mọ̀ kẹ́ àyà.
Wonderful loving we share. We are going loving this year.
Ìdùnnú ńlá ní fàyà kọ́kọ́ kó mọ̀ kẹ́ àyà. Oríire ló jẹ́ fọ́kọ tó bá mọ̀ kẹ́ àyà rẹ̀. Onítẹ̀mí ò wá kan ní mi gbọ́ tèmi o. Baby, jẹ́ ká sowọ́pọ̀ dákun yẹ ìwọ ọkọ mi. Jẹ́ ká sowọ́pọ̀ dákun yẹ ìwọ ọkọ mi. Ìlọsíwájú aya ó ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ ọkọ o. Ìlọsíwájú ọkọ ó ń bẹ lọ́wọ́ aya. Baby, gbọ́ tèmi, baby, gbọ́ tèmi o. Olólùfẹ́, gbọ́ tèmi o. Baby, gbọ́ tèmi o. Dákun yẹ o, gbọ́ tèmi.
Welcome back. That was Olomi by Ara. I hope you enjoyed it. Yes, coming back to Ara.
Yes.
The Olomi, what does it really mean?
Olomi means could be my darling, my dearest, my dear, It's just that's what it is.
That's what it is
Okay.
for them. For you, you must have somebody you had in mind when you were really not. Who is the person? Please tell us. Hit us. We want to hear it.
That's the best kept secret.
Okay,
After
whisper it
tonight.
in my ears.
Nobody. Because that's creative me.
Whisper it in my ears and whisper it back to them.
I'm just playing around. Don't mind me.
Oh my God.
And I had an experience that I'm sure a lot of people know about, and in that music it was just for me something that I pray for, something that I want, and it's a lot of advice really for women out there saying that, because from my angle and being an entertainer, I'm exposed to a lot of things and we learn and hear all kinds of things. So for me, that song was a way of letting our women and our men know that, listen, yes, the pressure all around the country and all that, still have time for each other, to love each other, to play, we are losing all that now. Everybody's off to work at 6 a.m., back 9 p.m. Good night, baby, good night, darling. The children are suffering and all that. It shouldn't be. Have time to enjoy each other. That is, life is short, even if you live 200 years. It doesn't matter. So how much more? Nobody lives up to 200 years anyway. Nobody. So calm down, relax, enjoy.
Yeah, so the message really is to the families,
Yes.
all part of preservation of the family.
Yes, the couples.
A
Yeah.
message to the family to say, come, you need to put yourself together.
Yes.
And don't let the main thing walk away.
No, don't.
Oh, great. Here you are. You are here to set the record straight.
Yes.
You were once married,
Yes.
and then you're a single parent now.
Yes. Well, I would say that things happen to one in life. There are some experiences that you need to go through, pass through. Yes, there were good and bad times. And I have a beautiful son from that union, and I don't regret having my baby. I have learnt my lessons, and I believe he has learnt his too. He has moved on. I mean, he just had a new baby from his new partner about 2 months ago, and I have moved on. No hard feelings, no bad feelings. Of course, it's natural at the initial stage. Anger, why did you do this? How could you do this to me? How could you be this to me? How could you do that? But at the end of the day, we learn to forgive and move on. And then for the sake of the child between us, we maintain a very cordial relationship. I would never, ever want my son to grow up one day and hear me that I had said nasty things about his dad. Even though I was angry at the time, I made sure that I controlled myself. And he, on his part, has been a very gentleman as well. So, such is life. We move on. Learn from whatever experience and move on so that you don't make the same mistakes, in your next experience.
Great. I'm going to ask a follow-up question. When are you coming up with your marriage counseling unit? So now, speaking of moving on,
Okay.
how are you coping with single parenthood? Because I know you have challenges as well.
Yes.
Coping with
Oh, yeah.
single parenthood.
If I say it's been rosy, then I'd be the greatest liar on earth. But I thank God for my family. They've been very, very supportive. I mean,
Has this whole experience,
Yes.
has it in any way affected your musical career?
no. As a matter of fact, I like to seize this opportunity to say a very big thank you to the media and to my fans. I got loads of love from my fans, especially the women. You understand? And then I was also touched by the number of men that wrote me. They understood. A lot of women wrote me to tell me their experiences, what they were going through in their marriages. And the love they showed me. And the media, thank you so much.
I received a thank you on their behalf. I received it on their behalf.
Thank you.
So now, speaking of moving on,
Yes.
The first one has failed. You know when you do an examination,
Yes, sir.
you failed, you do a carryover.
You must
When
pass
are we
it.
having the carryover?
I will be very honest. There's been admirers, tons
Of it.
of it.
I said you should whisper it to me. Just whisper it to me,
I'm
and I'll
not
whisper
seeing
it to them.
anybody.
Huh?
I'm not going out with anybody.
For the records.
For the records, I'm not.
All right, single, and she's not going out with anybody, and
No.
she's waiting for the right man to come
At the
knock.
right time.
Yes,
I'm not rushing.
you're not rushing.
No. At all. For the right person and at the right time. I'm not rushing. I'm not.
Good for you. And so, do you think you should?
So why did you let it out? That was a personal thing. You just said it on air.
I'm sorry. He's not supposed to say that. Come, no regrets, no regrets. Life is
No
just what it
regrets,
is.
no regrets.
Life is just what it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is wishing you the very best as you
you.
go on. There's
Thank
so
you.
much more for you, Ara.
Thank
You have
you.
the world right in front of you.
Thank you.
Waiting to embrace
I
you.
have no regrets.
Yes. No regrets. No regrets. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank
We'll
you.
keep supporting you and giving you our best of luck.
Thank you
Yes.
very much. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you, Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Yes, viewers, that is where we'll draw the curtain on Saturday night. Thank you for staying tuned. Have a pleasant night.